that every time you use your GPS, you're basically connecting to the US military?
The GPS infrastructure that we use today was developed and is still owned by the US Department of Defense. It uses 31 satellites to triangulate your position anywhere in the world. And I'm sure that you're wondering, is your phone licensing this thing from the military? Who's paying for it? Or even more critically, can the military track you? It's not that simple. So the first GPS satellites were launched exclusively for military use, but around the 80s, they started opening this thing up for the public. In the early days, they would disrupt the signal a little bit, so the GPS was never exact. It was only accurate to about 100 meters or 300 feet.
Around the year 2000, the military figured that the civilian and business applications of GPS outweighed the risks of putting the technology in everyone's hands. So they stopped jamming the signal, and we have the exact GPS system that we have today.
This eventually created empires like Garmin, a company that was famous for launching one of the first GPS devices, then navigation, and more recently, smartwatches, where they're actually doing pretty well. But again, since everybody's phones and devices are now connected to these satellites, can the military track us?
Cleverly, they aren't, and the reason why is actually very cool. Satellites are just broadcasting signals. They're not receiving anything.
So every satellite is constantly broadcasting their location in space along with a very exact timestamp. Because we know the speed of light and we know a little bit of relativity thanks to Interstellar, your phone catches that signal and calculates exactly how far away the satellite is. So this creates a circle, call it a sphere actually, of positions where you might be, right? But that's not very accurate. But when you add 3 satellites, those spheres only really intersect at 2 possible points. And so this is called trilateration. You need 3 satellites to calculate your position in a 2D space. And if you add a 4th satellite, you can also calculate your position in a 3D space, meaning altitude.
So your phone is just running this calculation in the background as you walk or as you drive, but it's not sending anything back to the satellites.
So if you want more business and tech curiosity stories, subscribe to the Hustle newsletter.